Well, students, welcome to Friday. And today we're going to continue the last part of this chapter on negotiations and conflict. So, today, hold on a second. Here we go. We are going to look at different strategies in negotiations. So, a strategy in the negotiation process really talks about what we need to do to reach our desired goals. Essentially, we have utilized most, if not all, of our resources. We agreed to table some of the situations, and we decided that we would, as best we could, put everything on a level plane. So, your book states that some researchers have argued that all strategies require bolstering the perceived power base of the negotiator in order to be more effective. I agree with that to a certain point, but I don't think that perceived power should be humiliating or controlling. The power should be based on the resources that are accessible to the party. So, perceived power should be not looking at what I can do just for the sake of it, because I can, I have this power. And it's not used to punish or another individual or lower their self esteem. The important thing is to how to be able to not only have access to the resources, but utilizing them correctly as well. So, the level of dependency between the parties, if you can look at your book, impacts the degree of power each person has in the negotiation. So, what is our action plan? What steps are we going to take in order to resolve the situation amicably? What type of outcomes are both parties expecting, not just one party? So, if you are the negotiator, you have a choice of outcomes, and you could choose between substantive and relationship outcomes. And I think that if you look at table 10.3, okay, it's going to look at strategy, outcomes, and tactics. Page 357 in your book. Strategy, collaboration, outcomes sought, substantive relationship. And you can go through each one of those steps, but basically, you start on neutral ground. Both parties talk about what they're looking for. And the other thing is, don't just say, doesn't matter what type of power you have in the company, don't just say, I'm doing this just because I can. Give reasons for your demands. And then concede on certain things. Sometimes you not only gain things, but you can also have to give up some things to get what you want. And it says here, delete, add, or yield items for mutual benefit. And that's self-explanatory. And then honestly assess what concessions your opponent is making. but you're always looking for seeking mutual benefits. And if you go down to the second thing, it talks about competitive, all right, as far as the strategy, and then it has outcomes sought. Hold your ground when you negotiate, but don't conceal things. That's when problems go wrong. Hold your ground and give substantive reason for holding your ground. Holding your ground. Commit to each other. Don't make demands that are high but offer very little to solve the problem. Your negotiation will not go anywhere. Then finally, subordinative, relationship only will be the, hold on a second. And relationship only is seek to conduct negotiations on the opponent's ground, elicit opponent's agenda items and downplay your own, concede to opponent's demands and requests. This is not the way to go. Make high offers and low demands. So if you look at collaborative, you look at competitive, and you look at subordinative, the idea is collaboration is the way to go. It's a combination between two things. Hold your ground, but at the same time, give rationale behind what you want to do and what you want to negotiate. And if you look at figure 10-3 again, you could see the four quadrants. So should we be somewhere in the middle of all these four, or should we be both collaborative and substantive? I want you to think of that for a minute. Think of them both. Okay. Sorry, there's a little yawn there. Now, after you get by figure 10-3, it talks about mediation as a solution to negotiation. And mediation essentially is only the last step that you want to take in a negotiation. When you come to a stalemate, and even the items you want to table you can't agree on, and they are vital to the success of both parties, you may have to go to mediation. So mediation essentially involves a third neutral party who's going to listen to both sides, but both parties have to agree on what the mediator decides. They're looking at it objectively, but both parties have to say whatever that person decides, they're going to decide what is fair for both parties. So, what can the mediator change? Look at page 358. How the parties describe and interpret the situation. Second point is how the parties interpret and describe themselves relative to the situation. And finally, the interaction among the parties and the situation and the meaning that is placed on the interactions. So they're going to look at the substantive. they're going to look at the conflict. And then they're going to look at how both parties fail to collaborate and what are the issues that are preventing them from doing so. Okay, that is the end of Friday's lecture. I'm going to put some neat videos for you to look at, and have a great weekend. Professor D.